Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Mark Hanrahan here in the KREM 2 studio, joined by my colleague Regina On in the newsroom tonight. Regina?
Hey, good evening, Mark. Good evening, everyone. Let's get right to our top story here. The historic Rose Apartments building in East Central Spokane is on the move to make way for the North Spokane Corridor project. The two-story building has 8 units and was built back in 1912. And today, crews relocated the building 1 block south from its original location on East 3rd Avenue by Liberty Park. Amanda Rowley is there live watching it all happen. Amanda.
Hi, good evening, Regina. Yeah, this 200-ton building started to move at about 10 o'clock this morning, and it's moved south, 1 block south from its original location. It's going to end up in this empty lot here. Right now, crews are kind of on a standstill. They're trying to fix a snafu with the truck that's moving it. But really, overall, this is a culmination of work of 2 years and efforts from the community to preserve a historic building in Spokane.
Big and heavy, and it's brick, and the ability to move it is pretty fascinating.
Oh, I think it's a beautiful building and it needs to be preserved.
I've been interesting to see how they are going to get it to move and up over here.
It's not every day a 100-year-old building is uprooted and moved. But the key to moving the historic Rose Apartments is going slow and steady.
To move it, we had to install a bunch of steel beams, jack it up in the air, and then install our dolly system.
Neighbors came to watch throughout the day. Some brought cameras, others planned ahead and brought chairs. Dustin Sapp brought his daughter.
I feel like it's good to see them to see stuff like this, because a lot of people would say this is probably an impossible task. It's awesome to see all the work and all the people coming together.
The East Central Community Organization saved the building last year. It eventually received funding from Spokane's Community Housing and Human Services Department to plan and permit the move.
Our goal all along was to preserve the building because it's historic and because it's affordable housing. This area has lost so many affordable housing units that we just felt like we had to save these.
We like to save historical buildings, so it's cool to be a part of it.
So slowly and steadily, the building made its way down Pittsburgh and eventually ending up at 4th Avenue. Nickel Bros, the company making the move today, snapped this photo from their drone as a way to analyze every movement.
It's extremely impressive to see a building move and not have it crack.
All right, so to be clear, you're looking at the bricks on this building. Crews have told me they have not lost any bricks in the move so far. Now, the East Central Community Organization actually told me that they renovated the inside of the building. So it's modern on the inside with the 8 units and still has the historical exterior. So the community organizers say they're excited to see this building continue to be used by more and more families to come. Reporting in East Central Spokane, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Yeah, quite the effort there, Amanda. Thank you very much. New today, the Spokane Regional Health District reporting 860 coronavirus cases and no new deaths. That's an increase of 18 cases since yesterday. 12 people remain hospitalized as of today. That's 3 more than yesterday. Yesterday, Dr. Bob Lutz reported 8 of the 9 hospitalized were in the intensive care unit. Right now, we don't know how many are in the ICU as of today. Another Washington county moved on to phase 3 of reopening. Governor Jay Inslee posted this map today, writing that Pacific County in western Washington was just approved to move on to phase 3. There are a couple of interesting observations from the map I also want to point out. As you can see, Spokane County, essentially the lone eastern Washington county, still in phase 2. The surrounding counties in green are all in phase 3. And Spokane Health Officer Dr. Bob Lutz said just yesterday we're still seeing too many cases to move on to the next phase. Also in central Washington, Yakima County, the only county still solidly in phase 1. The governor called the Yakima Valley the epicenter of the pandemic in Washington, where the infection rate is 28 times higher than in King County. All the other counties in orange, like King County, have either applied to move on to the next phase or they're in a modified version of their current phase where more things are allowed. Governor Inslee was in Yakima today.
The current status and course we are on in Yakima Valley is frankly disaster if somehow we don't knock down what's called the R number, the R naught number. That's the amount of people that one person infects. If we don't get that number down, we're heading to a disaster in the next few months in the Yakima Valley.
Right now, Yakima County has had the most coronavirus cases per capita among all West Coast counties. Most of their cases originated from long-term care facilities and agriculture workers. The governor says new aggressive ways need to be put into place to slow the rate of transmission. Additional testing also needs to be put in place, as well as frequency of testing. Inslee says contact tracing also needs to be implemented in order to prevent even more community spread from occurring. Honor Flight canceling the rest of their flights this year. The organization takes veterans to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials built in their honor. Leaders of the group are looking at tentative dates now for the spring of 2021. Inland Northwest Honor Flight leaders say veterans who were set for the flights this spring will be first in line when their trips resume. Visit Spokane announced today no city in Spokane County will have 4th of July fireworks this year. Normally, the fireworks bring hundreds of people to the city, but due to the pandemic, they were forced to cancel. All large public gatherings scheduled for the 4th of July have also been canceled.
And we have an update about the body that was found in East Spokane Friday. The Spokane County Medical Examiner identifying the man as 48-year-old Taurus Ogletree. Ogletree's cause of death was due to gunshot wounds. His death is being investigated as a homicide. Last Friday, someone had called into 911 that they saw a man lying face down near the Spokane River Trail. Spokane Fire arrived and confirmed the man was dead. Major crimes detectives are investigating this case. This is a developing story. We'll keep you updated with the very latest.
Seattle police can no longer use chokeholds, tear gas, pepper spray, and several other crowd control devices. The Seattle City Council voted unanimously last night to ban such police practices. The council also adopted legislation requiring officers to display badge numbers. This comes after officers repeatedly used crowd control devices on mostly peaceful demonstrators. President Donald Trump signed an executive order today for new standards in police reform. The order encourages police departments to collect and track excessive force complaints. It also adds incentives for police to update their training certifications. It will employ mental health professionals to work with police to respond to certain incidents as well.
We must improve accountability, increase transparency, and invest more resources in police training, recruiting, and community engagement. As part of this new credentialing process, chokeholds will be banned, except if an officer's life is at risk.
President Trump says he'll work with Congress on additional reform legislation being worked on right now. The House is expected to vote on its legislation next week, but the Senate is not expected to vote on its bill until next month. Let's talk about weather for a moment. We're only a few days away from the official start of summer, but my goodness, Tom Sherry, it hasn't felt like it as of late.
But I tell you what, by the time the weekend rolls around, you talked about the summer solstice. That will occur on Saturday, and of course Father's Day on Sunday. Summer weather returns just in time for the weekend, and maybe even a few days before that. In the meantime, as Mark noticed, it is cool outside, and we've got some showers. Not so much in the Spokane area, but to the north of us and to the west of us. Here's a closer view. Some showers out towards the farmlands, out in between Davenport and Odessa and Grand Coulee. You see, we've got maybe an isolated shower up in the Green Bluff area and out towards the Spokane Valley. But really the big weather story for us today, I think, is temperatures. They're just much cooler than average. We should be seeing highs right now around 73. 69 will be the high tomorrow. We'll look for a few showers developing in the afternoon. Let's skip ahead to the weekend. 81 on Saturday. Again, that is the summer solstice, and we'll see 80 on Sunday for Father's Day. I'll check the rest of your 7-day forecast coming right up.
Can't wait for the weekend. Thanks so much, Tom. Well, as crews in North Idaho get ready for wildfire season, coronavirus is impacting the way they're preparing. The Idaho Department of Land says coronavirus hasn't necessarily changed their approach to fighting fires, but the way they go about it could look a little different. KREM 2's Taylor Vito explains.
Yes, it hasn't felt too much like summer over the last few days. There's been plenty of wet weather. But remember, wildfire season is just around the corner, and that has the Idaho Department of Lands gearing up like usual. New in the mix this year, though, coronavirus.
It has added a level of complication to our normal preseason fire preparation.
Like so many other industries, IDL says COVID-19 has had some impacts to their wildfire teams. While it's not entirely clear how this fire season will shake out for Mother Nature or what coronavirus cases will look like, IDL says they've been planning to have social distancing measures put into place. Those fire camps we've shown you before, well, they could look unique this year.
Crews are going to be separated from each other. There's going to be more adherence to social distancing, separating tents from each other. Briefings are going to look a little different.
Additionally, some fire camp operations could work remotely instead of at fire camps. IDL says they could potentially take more rigs to a fire scene as well, allowing firefighters more room to spread out. Then there's the factor of other states that have traditionally sent their own firefighters to Idaho to help out with fires. IDL wonders if coronavirus could make some agencies reluctant to travel.
There is question as to whether or not many of those states and regions that we count on will be letting their resources out of their state and out of their regions.
The good news, the agency says most regions they've heard from will let fire crews assist. Still, IDL says they've brought on additional contract crews this spring in an effort to boost their own resources. But at the end of the day, IDL says fear not. They'll still have boots on the ground. Firefighters will still fight wildfires aggressively like they have for years.
But safety is always going to be first and foremost, and our firefighters and the public are our priority.
Taylor Vito, KREM 2 News.
All right, coming up here at 5, the one unbelievable arrest made by Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, the sting operation that caught a man yellow-handed. And we want to give a big senior shout out to Michaela Scarano. She's a senior at East Valley High School. She'll be attending Eastern Washington University in the fall to pursue a career in nursing. And if you missed our senior special last week, you can check it out on our YouTube page. There's a whole hour of great moments celebrating the class of 2020.